Hello, I'm Niko Papakonstantis. I'm the chair of the Exeter Select Board. With me this afternoon are town manager, Mr. Russ and our interim public works director, Mr. Paul Vlasich. Today, we'd like to give the community an update regarding the Squamscott River Siphons project. Many residents have reached out to the town manager's office, public works office, and to the select board, specifically with questions about the project, the challenges, and the timeline. We felt the best way to answer these questions would be to provide you with a very easy-to-watch video in which Mr. Vlasich will go through the timeline, the intent of the project, and some of the challenges we faced and where we're going forward. As you know, the Select Board has been updated regularly at our Select Board meetings since January, when Mr. Vlasich and the consultants have given an update, and we anticipate that that will be the case moving forward for the time being. The Board is incredibly confident that the staff has utilized town resources to the fullest extent by working with third-party experts, reviewing alternative options, analyzing physical and financial risks. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Vlasich, who's going to talk about the scope of the project, the purpose, some of the challenges that we faced, and ultimately the timeline.
So the project is to replace two failing siphons, two 8-inch siphons. Currently, they have water infiltrating into the siphons, and also to increase capacities for the north end of town, Portsmouth Avenue area. The solution was to directionally drill 3 siphon barrels across the river. Those sizes were 2 10-inch pipes and a 12-inch pipe. Funding for the project, well, there's many funding partners. Back in FY20, there was an SRF loan for $1.4 million with 10% forgiveness, $600,000 in congressionally directed spending, $180,000 in state ARPA funds, and $420,000 in the town ARPA funds. Project went out to bid, and the contractor, the successful contractor, his bid amount was $1,627,750. Construction activity started on December 1st, 2022, with the contractor mobilizing to the site. And then the subcontractor, the drilling contractor, mobilized about a week and a half later. On December 19th, with a directional drill attempt from the mill side of the river, heading over to the Swayze Parkway side, an obstruction was hit approximately 80 feet out. The barrel was relocated, and approximately 100 feet out, the ledge was hit again. Now, with that, you might ask, was there any geotechnical work for the project? And the answer is yes. Was there any actual new geotechnical work in the river? The answer there is no. Borings were conducted at both the jacking and receiving pits, where the engineers had proposed those, but also there was existing data from when the siphons were originally installed, and like I said, it was about 60 years ago. And the location of the existing siphons is about 200 feet to the north, downstream from the proposed new siphons. With the ledge being hit, there was a change of conditions, and the contractor and the subcontractor had to remobilize equipment that can drill through ledge. And rock drilling began on January 9th, 2023. And after several attempts, ranging from January 9th to January 30th, a pilot hole was finally started on the 31st, January 31st, and a 6-inch pilot hole was completed. Now, let me just pause there for a second, and the way that the drill drilling operations would be is they would have this drill head go through the rock, drilling a 6-inch pilot hole. Once they get through the other side, then the hole will need to be enlarged to 12-inch. And then once the 12-inch hole was reamed, then it would have to go to 18-inch, and then from there the polyethylene pipe can be pulled through the boring. Right after the successful pilot hole that was drilled from the Swayze Parkway side over to the mill side was completed on February 16th. The back reaming operation also was started. That was being pulled from the mill side. Now with the back reaming activity, there was some fluid release, and there is this clay bentonite lubricant that they put in the hole to help with the grinding operations, and also to help remove some of the grindings that they're making in the hole and then taking that out of the hole. And the fluid, first of all, is not toxic to the environment. As I mentioned, it was clay bentonite. A fluid release happens when the fluid under pressure works its way up through the soil and then ends up on the surface or in the bottom of the river. So because of that fluid release, the contractor then relocated to the Swayze Parkway side once again to start the 12-inch reaming operation from that side. And that relocation was done on February 20th, 2023. Then on three days later, February 23rd, the shaft broke on the drilling operation. The drilling subcontractor suggested that it is unlikely that we'll be able to remove the reamer, and that a possible fix might have been to weld sleeves together from the mill side and to push it out from that side of the river. The likelihood of success of a removal of the reamer was very low, and it was going to be expensive, to potentially to the tune of about $400,000. On March 21st, the subcontractor then performed the extraction of the failed drill rods. The break occurred about 103 feet from the drill, and which makes the potential excavation, if we were going to try to dig down and reattach at that location, approximately 35 to 40 foot deep. And we have estimates from the contractor suggesting that the cost of that would be close to $750,000. So moving forward, where are we? Number one, I want the viewers to know that there is a contingency plan in place in case of the failure of the existing siphons. And that would mean creating a pump station above ground, pumping the effluent through a force main that would be laid out on the mill's lawn area as it heads over to String Bridge Road, and then across String Bridge to Water Street. The contractor has been doing this work and not getting paid to date because of the time and material. So the town is executing a change order, and the change order is in the amount of approximately $716,000. We are also waiting for our consultants and their subconsultants to document the failed drilling equipment, and we anticipate a memo from our consultant for understanding if we can possibly perform 2 siphons instead of 3, with both of those being 12 inches. We got to make sure that the low flows and both the future flows can be accommodated with that. Another task that we are trying to undertake now also is to try to understand the ledge profiles in the area. And we are looking for a proposal from the consultant to see if there is a way to map that ledge profile. There was already an attempt that was done on February 20th where this seismic mechanism was towed behind a boat in an effort to try to understand ledge in the area, but that turned out to be unsuccessful because of the bubbles in the soil. Prior to the shaft breaking and the reamer stuck in the river, we had an estimated cost of about $3.5 million for the contractor then to complete one 12-inch barrel across the river. The next attempt for a 12-inch barrel, the contractor and the subcontractor is suggesting more substantial equipment for the work, and they've already given us the new daily rates for those. With that, there'd be also a consideration for a conductor barrel to be installed, and this is so that if the drill mechanism had to be removed from the river, that it would be able to be rethreaded through this conductor barrel to make sure that we are hitting the same opening in the ledge. And as we sit here, we are waiting for some estimates on the new bore with collaboration between both our consultant and our contractor.
So how do we move forward? Although the project methods have changed, the project goals have not. The town needs to replace the existing deteriorated sewer siphons, and we need to increase sewer capacity for future town growth. The challenging riverbed conditions have forced the town to review all alternatives. We are working diligently with the engineering team, contractors, and legal counsel to understand all potential financial implications and determine a path forward. At this time, we can only speculate on the cost of the project because a definitive path forward is still being determined. However, we do expect changes will result in a cost increase. The increase will not be the estimated $3.5 million for a single sewer siphon times 3. The reason is that the $3.5 million estimate includes the contractor's cost to change equipment, plan for the changing conditions, and drill through 800 feet of rock. These increased costs would not be the same for barrels 2 and 3 because we now have more accurate data as to what the drill team will be drilling through to complete the project. Various options are being researched, such as reducing the project to a 2-barrel system or drilling a hole large enough to support 2 siphons in a single drill hole. Any change in the system design will need to be approved by the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, as they regulate sewer capacity regulations. There is an urgency to repair the existing sewer siphons due to their condition and the potential for collapse. The project may have to be phased to meet our final goals. However, we are still working to determine an alternative plan. However, we know whatever is proposed will take into consideration the concerns of our residents.
As you can see, this project is challenging, but I assure you that all options, costs, and timelines are being investigated. This project has become more complicated than we expected, but it is not unattainable. Town staff and the Select Board remain committed to working to determine the most effective and responsible path forward regarding this project. The best way for residents to stay updated on this project is to tune into Select Board meetings, reach out to Public Works, contact the Town Manager's office, or reach out to the Select Board. We hope this video has been helpful, and we thank you for watching.